let's go on to another segment here. I think we kind of talked about Penn State, but first,
Yeah.
before we do that, let's actually have let's pick our winners. Like what do you think? Let you go first, Matt, because I have a feeling I think I know who you're going to pick, but none of us can actually feel good about our picks because I don't know who's going to win this game.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like having, like Kyle has had a lot of passes this year that could have been interceptions. He only has one interception on the year. The line does give up some pressure. A lot of it's just him not checking the pre-reads to see, okay, this guy's really close in the line. He could probably be blitzing, and he doesn't. He acts like it wasn't even a possibility, and then he gets destroyed. So, he's not super good at that, but he is really good at avoiding the pressure when it comes to him. So, like, there was a couple big corner blitzes where he should have been destroyed, and he, did a 360 and just avoids it. So he's really good at avoiding the pressure. He just has to make sure he doesn't make those. His big problem on the year is throwing off his back foot, which he's been doing a lot. Almost got picked off at the end of the Notre Dame game. Almost had a few. They're quite, like so many plays that should be touchdowns, but they ends up being that the receiver has to wait for the ball in the air, and then he catches it, and then there's no yards after catch because he doesn't lead the receivers. He's always throwing off his back foot for some reason. Like it seems like 80% of the time he's doing that. So I don't know. It's a big issue. I'm really worried about him throwing interceptions or getting fumbles because he's not reading the defenses and picking up those blitzes because he just doesn't know when they're coming. So I'm concerned that he's going to be more of a liability on that, even more so than the Penn State quarterback. I just think that our defense is better than theirs, even though statistically theirs is better. But I'm going to chalk up to them just playing really, really bad teams because I think our defense overall is actually a better defense than theirs by quite a bit. So it's just a matter of whether our defense can pull it out. And I think the big difference really in the teams is our defenses are both good. I think ours is a little bit better. And I think our offense is significantly better than theirs. So if, unless all these guys we're talking about are actually out, we don't have Burke, we don't have Emeka, we don't have Trey, then I think we're going to lose. But I think Trey's going to play. I think Emeka has at least a 50-50 chance, maybe 75-25 chance that he'll play. Burke, we just don't know because there's been zero, we didn't see him warming up or anything, after his injury. So we don't know, we just have no idea what his injury even is. So, losing him would be tough, even though our depth is really good there. You can't lose an All-American player. But, I still think we're, going to win. I think it's just going to be a really low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 17-14 Ohio State or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Matt. I go about 17-13 myself. I think both defenses are pretty good. Offenses are a little suspect for sure, more so than the defenses. I'm no fan of McCord by any means. I've never watched a game and had that dude inspire confidence, but there are a lot of good playmakers out there, receiver and some other places that are going to help. But if he's the person that's going to be responsible for winning the game, they're going to lose. But I don't think it's going to go down to that. But they're at home against Penn State. That helps.
Definitely helps.
It's still Penn State against Ohio. Like Penn State just doesn't ever seem to beat Ohio State either. So I'm going to go ahead and call it low score 17-13. It's going to be a defensive struggle. There's going to be one or two key turnovers with short fields that are going to give Ohio State a chance to score some points, and that's what's going to happen.
So you're calling Ohio State going to be winning?
Yeah, 17-13.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, JJ made a couple of comments about paper tiger defense for Penn State. I think that's definitely a possibility because they've not played one. It's just difficult.
But Ohio State doesn't have a great offensive line, and again, McCord doesn't inspire confidence in me. So even if they're average to above average, they're still going to cause enough havoc, I think, to keep the points down.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think that the defenses, like Ohio State, has at least played Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
the best one of anybody in the Big Ten right now, right? Out of anybody who's played anybody in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Notre Dame's offense had a good offensive line, had a good running back.
They were scoring a ton of points too.
They have a good tight end. Yeah.
Well, Notre Dame was scoring points going in that game too. They scored a lot of points.
And also, one of the reasons they lost to Louisville was because I think all three of their receivers were injured. So they had literally no one to play. So
That
part of that
shouldn't
was just.
And
They shouldn't
Louisville
be
got
lost.
rid of their coach and gave it to UC, so they had a chance to have a decent coach, and UC now sucks. I think it's Scott Satterfield.
Well, yeah, and I think that Ohio State could sort of be in the same position a little bit as Penn State because both teams have only not really played anyone. Ohio State's played one team really in Maryland, if you count that. But
no, I don't.
I don't. Yeah, Diego's not here, but it's difficult because I sent you guys earlier this week some screenshots of Ohio State's rankings last year going into the Michigan game.
Mm-hmm.
They were still top 10 everywhere. It all, I think all defensive positions in the country.
But the Big Ten isn't generally good outside of Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. That's just it. These guys compile these stats, these teams, because the Big Ten stinks.
Yeah, good point. And that's kind of the thing. The numbers look really, really good right now for both Penn State and Ohio State, just like they're going to all year because every team only plays one or two or three teams.
You know what makes me feel a lot better, though, is the fact that Notre Dame, while I think their offense is definitely not elite, they have a really good running game, a really good tight end, and their quarterback is efficient, but they don't have the deep passing game, but their defense is one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
And they destroyed USC, who is, USC is known for not having a good defense. But their offense
is a little soft too.
Their offense has been amazing for
until they got pushed around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Notre Dame's defense was ridiculous. They had 3 interceptions. I mean, Caleb Williams has never had that happen to him ever.
But not to recap the Ohio State Notre Dame again, but the defense for Notre Dame had them winning the game. There was coaching lapses and execution lapses by Notre Dame that allowed Ohio State to come back and win that game.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking. It's not even really about winning or losing. It's just because we could have lost that by a couple points easily. But what I'm saying is the quarterback still made enough plays to keep us in the game, whereas Caleb Williams lost the game. Him and the offensive line lost that game. Their defense actually played okay, surprisingly. But, he threw 3 interceptions. Their offensive line got abused. And, he
got benched. The Heisman dude got benched.
Yeah. So, McCord is, not the best, but, he's still top 10 in efficiency in QBR. And, he definitely seems like he's, throwing off his back foot and could definitely lead his receivers more. He could pick up blitzes better, but, he did a lot better than the reigning Heisman winner did. So, maybe he's a little bit better than we think.
He doesn't pass the eye test, man. I watched McCord play.
No, that's what I agree with you. I don't think he passes the eye test.
Even when he talks, he doesn't sound confident.
I'm just comparing him to Caleb. I think he did way better than Caleb did. And
he doesn't. You don't look at him and inspire. Look at that guy as a great leader, a great quarterback. When you see him or hear him talk, I have zero confidence in that
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think this game. I'm not gonna feel good about the pick because I feel like it's going to be so close. Whoever I would pick right now, just because of the injuries for Ohio State, I'm picking Penn State to win, just barely, maybe by a field goal, 24-21. But on the other hand, what's keeping me kind of thinking Ohio State too, just being at home, of course, but Kyle McCord looks bad. Sometimes he just looks awkward out there. But somehow he came back at Notre Dame.
That was still impressive.
They might just his nickname is what is it, McCrenzel? Because it's unbelievable that they keep winning. I remember 2002. That's a long time.
But Krenzel was at least more physically imposing. Dude came in from playing safety to play quarterback, maybe more Bowserman or whatever.
But I just can't. I can't pick the Buckeyes because of the injuries. But at the same time, McCord might just do something superhuman like he did against Notre Dame. And
we might have 3 first-round.
McCord didn't do anything superhuman against Notre Dame. What are you talking about?
Third down and 13, 4th down and 13, whatever, Matt.
Yeah, he made a bunch. His final drive, he made a bunch of killer throws.
It also helps when you have one less defender on the field than you're allowed by rule.
No, but see, that wasn't him. That was the running game. He got them down the field by making a bunch of amazing passes on 3rd and 4th down.
I love GOJ. I think he's related to Kyle McCord. He's super confident in Ohio State. I love it. Like, I love for somebody to be confident. I am negative by nature, so I'm negative here.
Well, you got 2 kids that going to Ohio State right now.
I do, and the problem I have with Ohio State right now is I had really no reason to care, not care, whatever, forever, other than like Matt and some other friends going. Now I have 2 kids. I'm paying a lot of money to Ohio State too, and they start sucking and losing to Michigan every time since they started going there. So
ever since your kids started going,
they're the problem apparently. Yep.
I like that prediction. Ohio State 38-17.
That's great, man. Like
I hope you're right.
I hope they do. I hope they're able to roll over Penn State and McCord for GOJ's sake. Takes a step forward and looks good and confident.
Yeah, it is, and
it's weird. Like, so we've had a lot of really close games against Penn State,
true?
but we've also had a few where we blew them out. So.
Is that a true stat? That can't.
It feels true because I know a lot of the first halves have been super low scoring.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm picking Penn State. I have to go with that. I can't.
Well, you're picking because you're a Michigan fan too,
I'm a hater.
Automatically.
Yep.
Why? So why are you picking Penn State? What makes you feel good about Penn State?
I think their defense is for real this year, and I also think they're
why do you think it's for real though? Again, what offense have they've really played?
They haven't played anyone.
Exactly.
They haven't played anyone.
Hard. They look good on paper and stat wise, sure, but again, on the field, not really been challenged.
Yeah, I'm just comparing them to Ohio State's offense, basically.
Okay.
Offense
That's fair.
And Ohio State's defense hasn't necessarily played any great offenses either. I would say Maryland is a good offense, unless you disagree again, JJ.
Yeah, no, I would just say that I think the biggest difference is that Penn State's offense has not been good against the 2 very average defenses that they played.
Yeah, well,
that's the difference,
Penn State is going to have a good running game against Ohio State because I'm not sold on Ohio State's run defense, and I probably won't be until I actually see them stop.
Well, I'm not sold on their run defense either, but their running game has not. Their running backs have not been good.
That's going to be very dependent on the defensive line really getting the handle on the running backs because once you talked about the linebackers are a problem, and if their linebackers are expected to stop the running backs or fill these gaps, we've known so far they've been able.
Yeah, I mean, like we have an All-American at one defensive tackle, and the other defensive tackle is like
love that all over Bowserman. That's just so good.
That is mean to call anyone Bowserman.
No, he sucked. He deserves it. He's probably a nice guy, but we're talking about field of play, not like how he is off the field. So, Bowserman, you suck.
Oh, they had. Was it 3rd and? It was not 3rd and 22. It was not that long.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, and they had all 11. Yeah.
Listen, in the Notre game, Ohio State still had to execute. No doubt about it. They did what they needed to do, but there were some really stupid decisions on when Notre Dame had the last time they had the ball in offense and not clock management, and then some weird stuff there at the very end. So, but if Ohio
again, that's not going to Kyle McCord though. That's going to the coaches.
That's right. That's right. All right. Hey, thanks, JJ.
Yeah, and we call you JJ too. Just
that's
the letter JJ.
Yep, I like JJ. JJ, we're buddies here.
Brian doesn't think much of the offensive lines, apparently.
As Matt pointed out at the beginning, Ohio State does not have a lot of sacks, right? Right. And my question was, what do the defensive hurries look like? How much time do the opposing quarterbacks have to get rid of the ball before, and maybe they may not be getting sacks, but they may be pressuring the other quarterbacks.
Yeah. They haven't. Maybe one of the reasons why we haven't given up a single big pass play all year is because they're trying to do fast passes so they don't get sacked.
That's right. Yep, for sure.